Right.
He was the murderer.
But then he murdered but then his daughter murdered the people.
His daughter has only killed 7 people.
That's mass murder, too. I understood that.
It's not mass murder, because she killed them one at a time.
Well,
she's a serial killer.
that. I knew that much. I just called her a mass murderer. Welcome to Trekkie Tuesday.
Today's episode, The Conscience of the King.
Riley is back in this episode. And to be perfectly honest, I don't think he acts that much more differently from when he was like the drunken Riley. He was a little similar.
He didn't sabotage the ship.
No. Although he did spill milk everywhere because he got poisoned. By the milk. I don't understand that scene in general. He's like alone in this huge, vast engineering room in the basement or something, and then like out of nowhere comes somebody who like sprays a little something in his milk, and he doesn't notice. I would think and he's complaining about how lonely he is, I think he would notice somebody else in the room, personally. Also, we got to see Uhura play a harpy thing. That was fun. She sang a space song, Skies of Green.
There was, in general, interesting music. I don't tend to notice music, but they did a lot of playing with the main Star Trek theme to try to give it the mood appropriate to the scene.
Trying to make it a romance.
Kodos, a.k.a. the star of this theater troupe, was actually, in fact, the mass murder.
And Kirk is all elaborate in his scheming. He's like, don't give the play people a ride, okay? I'm gonna go 7 light years out of my way so that I can bang this chick. Personal favor? And the guy's like, you got it, bro.
It's true. It's super creepy, even though he's only banging her because he thinks that her father is the mass murderer.
Well, that's what it started out as.
Oh, yeah.
But then it became something more.
Which he then awkwardly refuses to acknowledge in a light moment after it becomes clear that she was a serial killer. I think from a feminist perspective, the most striking thing was like the concern over, wait, are women going to be just people now?
Yeah.
In the future?
That was a really weird scene. That you probably shouldn't watch this episode, but you should watch that scene just because it's fascinating. Because women aren't people. They're more like green women animal slaves or something like that. But maybe when they have real jobs on a ship, are they people?
Might feminize them.
Kirk assures us that even in space, women are still women. And I think he means by that beautiful objects for him to goggle at, even if he won't be ogling them because it apparently distracts him from his duties, and then he might accidentally fall in love with someone who only kills 7 people. Not to be confused with a mass murderer. So why was it called The Conscience of the King?
It's called The Conscience of the King because, that is a quote from Hamlet.
Okay.
To do with the fact that Claudius is having ongoing guilt issues over having killed his brother. And then B, Kodos was the governor of a colony, so he was sort of like a king, and he's having ongoing guilt issues over having killed thousands of the people under his protection.
And why did he kill them again? Because it was war?
It wasn't war, Peacock. It was, there was a food shortage, and he had eugenics ideas, so he seized on the food shortage as an excuse to kill the people who had bad genes, so that the people with good genes could survive. But then relief arrived earlier than he expected, and so it hadn't been necessary to kill anybody because they weren't going to starve to death. And so he faked his own death and escaped, as I allege he does at the end of this episode. As you said, he thinks upon viewing her father's death, the lady doth protest not too much, but with overmuch exactitude of verbiage. See, it's weird that I talk like that, but if I had rehearsed it ahead of time, she's the one that shoots her father, apparently by accident, when he steps in front. But of course, phasers can be set to stun instead of kill.
So you think that she was in on it?
I think
and so she had a very dramatic, "Oh, my father! Shakespeare quotes! Shakespeare quotes! Shakespeare quotes!"
I think that as soon as Kurt confronted him, he went to his daughter and was like, okay, they're on to us. We need to pretend that you were the mastermind behind the serial killing all along, that it wasn't the two of us working together, and we need to fake my death again with you accidentally killing me. And we'll use one of those theater phasers that we have. They can turn red like it's a shooting to kill phaser, but is actually just a shooting to stun phaser.
That would be smart. I don't think that Star Trek at this point is that smart. The end. Is that okay? Do you have more to say?
It's okay.
Do you have more to say? No, I cut you off. You have more to say.
This is a Hamlet-themed episode. I should just briefly plug my book, The Tragedy of Prince Hamlet and the Philosopher's Stone, or A Will Most Incorrect to Heaven by William Shakespeare. Just type all that into Google and you'll find it.
Or maybe you can figure out how to put one of those things that like goes at the bottom of the YouTube video.
In fact, I have put one, and it's right there. And you can click on that. Yes,
Why
it's right
is it
here.
over there? It's like where your face is.
Yeah, well, I wanted to put it here because that was an easy place to click on, so that's where I put it. It's right here.
Are you sure it's not like over here?
Well, dear viewer, you can decide for yourself where the box that we have put in post-production is. That is a link, perhaps, to Amazon.
Maybe, if we can figure that out. Otherwise, Google it.
Yeah, otherwise we've cut out this whole section and you're not watching us right now.
You're not watching us right now. It's all in your mind.
That was the last episode.
Bye-bye.